รายการต่อไปนี้เป็นรายการทั่วไปสามารถรับชมได้ทุกวัย
สนับสนุนโดยแลกเงินด้วยบัตรเครดิตกสิกรไทยเที่ยวก่อนจ่ายทีหลังไม่มีค่าธรรมเนียมผ่อนชำระได้จากธนาคารกสิกรไทย
สวัสดีค่ะมองเรามองโลกวันนี้เราจะไปพูดคุยกับเดวี่ล็อกวูดหญิงสาวชาวอเมริกันกับภารกิจเดินทางรอบโลกด้วยจักรยานแต่ละที่ที่เธอไปเธอจะเก็บบันทึกเสียงสัมภาษณ์ของคนในท้องถิ่นนั้นๆเกี่ยวกับภาวะโลกร้อนและปัญหาเรื่องน้ำและเมื่อไม่นานมานี้เธอเดินทางมาที่ประเทศไทยค่ะอะไรคือแรงบันดาลใจของเธอในการทำภารกิจนี้ภาวะโลกร้อนและปัญหาเรื่องน้ำที่เธอเจอในแต่ละประเทศที่ไปมามีอะไรบ้างและประสบการณ์การเดินทางคนเดียวด้วยจักรยานและเป็นผู้หญิงด้วยจะเป็นอย่างไรเราไปคุยกับเดวี่ล็อกวูดกันค่ะเดวี่ล็อกวูดวัย 23 ปีจบการศึกษาด้านคติชนวิทยาและเทวตำนานจากมหาวิทยาลัยฮาร์วาร์ดหลังจากความประทับใจในการเดินทางโดยจักรยานไปยังตอนใต้สุดของแม่น้ำมิสซิสซิปปีเพื่อหาวัตถุดิบในการแต่งกลอนสำหรับการทำวิทยานิพนธ์ทำให้เธอตัดสินใจเดินทางอีกครั้งเมื่อเดือนกันยายนปี 2014 ปัจจุบันเดวี่เป็นกวีและนักเล่าเรื่องที่เดินทางไปทั่วโลกโดยจักรยานและเรือเป็นหลักเพื่อเก็บเรื่องราวจากคนท้องถิ่นเกี่ยวกับภาวะโลกร้อนและปัญหาเรื่องน้ำให้ครบ 1,001 เรื่องแล้วมาถ่ายทอดผ่านบล็อกของเธอDevi, what inspired you to actually make a year-long solo bike trip around the world?
Gosh, there's all sorts of threads of things that have been coming together, but I think a lot of it comes down to my love of storytelling. So I studied folklore and mythology at university at Harvard, and just really, in that time, fell in love with listening and felt like the world became more alive when I was able to listen to the stories that people were telling me and kind of honor them.And so for my senior thesis, I rode my bicycle down the southernmost part of the Mississippi River, which is right in the center of the United States, and along the way collected stories from different people I met and ended up writing poems inspired by those stories for my senior thesis. And it was, you know, when you just feel like you're doing something that you're meant to be doing, it was that kind of feeling. And I just wanted to do it more.Why do you want to focus on water and climate change? Yeah, well, I don't know. I just love water. I think it's like a human thing. The more I've listened to stories about water, the more I realize it's not just about me, you know? But I feel calm when I'm around water. But I also think that water is kind of this thread that runs through all of our lives. We need it in order to survive. Or is it because we're meeting a crisis about water and climate change? That's why you're so interested in it as well? Yeah, that too. I mean, I'm 23 years old, and I think that water and climate change are the most important issues of my generation. And I think we're kind of at a turning point now where there's a lot that's coming together all at once, and it's kind of an exciting time and also a scary time to be thinking about stories. I mean, running the current of everything from, you know, mass extinctions of animals to plastic that's in the oceans to, you know,lack of access to drinking water in many safe drinking water in many communities, not only in my country but around the world. It's something that's really important to me, and I think that there's no better way I could be spending my time. So
เดวี่เริ่มต้นเดินทางจากสหรัฐอเมริกาแล้วต่อไปยังประเทศตูวาลูฟิจินิวซีแลนด์ออสเตรเลียและเมื่อไม่นานมานี้เธอมายังประเทศไทยโดยปัจจุบันเธอเก็บเสียงสัมภาษณ์ได้เกือบ500เรื่องแล้ว So from the United States you want to travel around the world, so you just take your bike and say let's go, or is there like some planning where to go, exactly when to go?
Yeah, so I started out with the idea to go to Tuvalu.
Why Tuvalu?
Tuvalu is a tiny coral atoll nation in the Pacific, very close to the equator. It's north of Fiji.And I decided to go to Tuvalu because of an article that a friend of mine was reading when I wrote the fellowship application that got me started on this trip. And it was for a class she was taking on kind of international diaspora, in a sense. the article was talking about the idea of climate refugees from Tuvalu. And so Tuvalu is the highest point right now, is only 4 meters above sea level. It's a nation of 10,000 people, very small, but very directly affected by climate change. And I wanted to go there and to listen.
What are some of the interesting stories in Tuvalu?
In Tuvalu.
Your starting point.
Interesting stories. I met this wonderful woman named Makalita there who took me in for about a week. And Makalita has a lemon tree in the back of her yard. And she's lived in Funafuti, the main island in Tuvalu, all of her life. And it has had that lemon tree there with her. And it used to be that the lemon tree would produce lemons and they would have lemons. And now she said, it's so dry, or that the water is so salty that they're lucky if they get one lemon. And there's water rations as well. So you get 4 buckets of water per household in the morning, 4 buckets at night. So 8 buckets of water a day, and it's, this size of a bucket. And she said it's just not enough.
The lemon tree too is going to die because of no water. And that time too we run out of water. We have a ration, like 4 buckets of water in the morning, and afternoon time 4 buckets, and then the next day. But in that 8 buckets a day, it will take us for our living at home. It's not enough. It's not enough for us because we got a big family at the moment.
From Tuvalu, you went to New Zealand?
Yeah, so made a stop in Fiji in between. Yeah, and then so I was in Fiji for about 2 months, and then arrived in New Zealand, January of 2015?
In Fiji?
Yeah.
Are the stories similar to those you listened to in Tuvalu?
Yeah, similar but different. Fiji's bigger in terms of landmass, and also they have access to all of these springs, So I think there's a certain pride that people take in, like, I'd be walking around the main capital, Suva, with my sign, and finally this chain reaction of meeting people led to such that I was invited to spend a week in this island called Ngau, which is right off the East Coast. It was like a 4-hour really bumpy aluminum boat ride to get there. Like, you get off and you're covered with salt, and I'm like, what is this strange world I'm in? And gorgeous island, gorgeous. There's a waterfall where the kids can play in, and the water is fresh and clean enough that you can just sip it from that waterfall, and it's cool as well because it's quite a hot climate like it is here. But the water is really cool and fresh. Some white person came and said that they would like to bottle and sell the water, and that this would, give profits back to the community. And so the elders all had a big meeting where they sat down and decided what they wanted to do. And they came to the solution that, the profits from the water wouldn't benefit them as much as it would benefit this one foreign person, and that their resource mattered more to them than any other, measure.
Water in the Pacific area, in these tiny islands, we have the most pure water in the whole world. The reason is because the most sellout water in the world is the Fiji water, and it's the distance from major islands or major continents are thousands of miles, and they are hardly polluted compared to places like China and America, like in Los Angeles. I've been to Los Angeles. When you have a rain bath, we can feel that there's a bit of acids or chemicals that comes down with the rain on your body. But in Fiji, when you have rain bath, you have pure water that's coming down.
from Fiji, you went next to
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Yes.
Did you plan it or did you just say, okay, since I'm in Fiji, let's just go to New Zealand?
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at the map, the Google map, and kind of zooming out and like, what's nearby? Oh, New Zealand. Well, I hear it's nice to bicycle in New Zealand, and I really want to get on my bicycle.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go, yeah.
That's it?
That's pretty much it, yep. I cycled from top to bottom over the course of about 4 months.
You travel from top to bottom of
Yes.
New Zealand by bicycling.
Yes.
And you collect stories along the way.
Yes.
Are more or less the stories the same? How people feel about water and about climate change?
In the South Island, there are really beautiful glaciers. Heard stories about the glaciers retreating. A guy who had been to visit the same, I think it was the Fox Glacier over the course of his whole lifetime, every couple of years would go and see it. And it's just retreating, it's warmer, melting. You get these big lakes that form at the base of it. It's one impact of it.
From New Zealand, where did you go next?
From New Zealand, I crowdfunded the money to take a cargo ship to Australia.
Why a cargo ship?
Well, I thought that I wanted to try to stop flying to reduce my environmental footprint. Because at this time I had collected a couple hundred stories, right? And you feel the magnitude of the issue when you're talking with people about it all the time, right? And I wanted to do everything I could to reduce my own environmental footprint so I'm not contributing to the problem.
What are their stories from Australia?
Well, Australia has the Great Barrier Reef, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. To snorkel a little bit along it when I was there, and the Great Barrier Reef is very sensitive. I'm not a scientist, I've just listened to a couple of stories about this, but very sensitive to small fluctuations in ocean temperature and ocean acidity, and you get this bleaching that happens where the coral just dies, And that's scary because it's kind of a forever death.
Have you been collecting stories in Bangkok or in Thailand already?
Yeah, I have. I've been walking around. The other night I was in Chinatown with my sign and ended up getting, a whole group of people who were just hanging out on the street telling me stories, and some in Thai, some in English, and that was great. Yeah.
And you record everything?
Yeah.
What are their stories?
Oh, gosh. There's a beautiful artist who's telling me about the drought in Thailand, how that's quite serious from what I understand in terms of impacts on farming. And that all of the people who were there gathered in the street, just hanging out on this Friday night or whatever it was, have come to Bangkok in order to work. And because this is where the work is, because if you don't have enough water to farm, you can't farm.
Actually, right now it's supposed to be the beginnings of raining seasons, but there is no rain. I think the balance of the weathers is changing. Some parts have a lot of rain, but some parts have none. The people who used to be farmers have to come to Bangkok because they want money and they want work. That's why they are here. They used to be farmers.
ในการเชิญชวนให้คนท้องถิ่นมาแบ่งปันประสบการณ์เดวี่จะไปยืนตามที่ชุมชนพร้อมแขวนป้ายที่มีข้อความให้คนมาบอกเล่าถึงปัญหาโลกร้อนและปัญหาเรื่องน้ำที่ตัวเองได้พบและเมื่อมีคนสนใจเดินเข้ามาพูดคุยเธอจะขออนุญาตอัดเสียงสัมภาษณ์และฟังเรื่องราวของพวกเขา
Okay ขอบคุณ I can speak Thai
Thai, yes,
Yeah,
Thai,
okay
good.
นะ okay นะ
Is it okay if I make recording?
Okay
Okay.
คือบ้านเราอยู่ถนนลาดพร้าวหลังบ้านจะเป็นคลองแสนแสบเมื่อก่อนเนี่ยไปเดินเล่นได้มันก็ไม่เหม็นขนาดนี้ไงตอนนี้นะมันเหม็นถึงขนาดที่ว่าเราเดินผ่านแล้วเรือมาน้ำกระเด็นใส่เราเมื่อก่อนเนี่ยน้ำกระเด็นใส่มันยังไม่เหม็นนะเดี๋ยวนี้แค่น้ำกระเด็นใส่ยังเหม็นเลยเมื่อวานก็ไปเจอคนแถวบ้านไม่รู้จักกันผู้ชาย2 คนเดินมาเขาก็บอกว่ากลับเรือไหมวันนี้ผู้ชายคนบอกไม่เอาหรอกเมื่อวานฉันเพิ่งกลับน้ำกระเด็นใส่เหม็นมากเลยแล้วเราอายมากคือ มันบ้านเราเองหลังบ้านเราเองคือเมื่อก่อนเนี่ยมันไม่เป็นแบบนี้
Everywhere you go, Devi, this is what you do. Hang this and then wait for people to come up and talk to you. Not you picking them picking to talk to you.
Pretty much, yeah. Sometimes people will make introductions to someone beforehand that I definitely have to collect a story from. But most of the time it's spontaneous, yeah.
Why do you use audio recording?
Yeah, I think it's really intimate. I wouldn't want there to be a kind of a screen or a machine between my face and someone else's face, so I get a bit shy about taking photos of people for that reason, and I even feel a bit nervous when I'm on camera. So I try to make people feel as comfortable as possible, and I don't know, I think there's something that's really lovely about just closing your eyes and listening to someone else's voice. I almost, by closing out other senses and just focusing on the listening, I feel like it becomes more, like the truth of the story is in the voice somehow.
What do you want people to get out of listening to all of your audio files on your website?
For me, listening is an act of love, and so if people can feel like their story matters, I think that's the most important thing. I don't know, and maybe just be inspired to think about the issue and the issues of water and climate change from just beyond, I'm doing this to get beyond my narrow little perspective.
How many stories have you been collecting so far?
So my goal is 1,001.
Why 1,001?
Well, I studied Arabic for a bit in university, and I thought 1,001 was a really beautiful number because of Shahrazad and 1,001 Nights. So yeah, I'm about halfway there. So nearing in on 500. I think I've got 472 or something right now.
What do you plan to do with all the stories that you collect?
Yeah, so I'm working on making a map on a website right now where you can click on a point and listen to a story someone has told me from that place. So it'll be an archive of sorts, and my hope is that that archive can move as well. So it doesn't just exist in the website, but maybe someday, it could be part of a museum collection or a library, and just that people are able to access it. That's the most important thing for me.
ช่วงหน้าไปฟังเทคนิคที่น่าสนใจสำหรับการเดินทางตัวคนเดียวด้วยจักรยานจากเดวี่กันค่ะ ในการเดินทางเดวี่จะเดินทางคนเดียวพร้อมพาหนะคู่ใจอย่างจักรยานที่เธอจะพาไปทุกที่การเดินทางแบบนี้ไม่ใช่เรื่องง่ายมีอะไรหลายอย่างที่ต้องเตรียมและระมัดระวังแต่สิ่งที่ได้คืนมาคือประสบการณ์ที่ล้ำค่าสำหรับเธอ
And for your bicycle, how far do you bike every day?
It really depends. So I think on the short end, it would be maybe 20 kilometers. That'd be a really short day. And the longest day I've ever done was in a very flat part of Australia, and it was about, 112.
Wow. In a day?
In a day, yeah. And so that's just cycling all day. So it really depends on what happens, and if I'm just trying to get to somewhere next. But hills slow you down, talking to people slows you down. If it's really hot in the middle of the day and I don't want to ride right then, that'll slow me down.
It's not a concern, right? How far you travel?
It's really not. No, as long as I have enough food and water and a place to sleep, I travel with a tent, so I can sleep in that sometimes.
Is it dangerous to travel, on a bicycle, solo, being a female?
I would be riding my bicycle anywhere anyway, so I don't feel any more at danger here than I would elsewhere. I wear a reflective vest all the time and my helmet, which is really important. I just want the cars to be able to see me. So that is a key concern. So I try to make myself as visible as possible. The best piece of advice I ever got as a solo female traveler, she says, when you meet someone, decide in the first 3 seconds whether or not you're going to trust them and follow your instinct. And honestly, that has gotten me out of a number of hairy situations.
This is your bicycle since, I mean, you ride this in the US.
Yep,
This is your bike.
This is the bike I worked all summer at a job I hated and saved up and bought a bike. Yep.
What do you bring with you?
Phone, wallet, regular things.
Have you ever got your stuff stolen?
No. No. Generally, I'm with the bike or the bike's in a safe spot or this is a multi-tool and so you can use it to, fix most of the things on the bike. Very useful.
Yeah,
More
so what's
random
that?
stuff. This is a headlamp so it can see at night. Swiss Army knife. Oops.
Okay.
I love this.
Yeah, this is the basic one. You
Yeah.
need to have it.
For cooking or cutting into papaya or whatever. And
What would you consider as like this super essential? You cannot live without it.
my audio recorder. Yeah, to collect stories, so I can show that to you. I keep it in a dry bag. And I don't take it out until someone says it's okay to record because, again, consent is really important to me. My headphones,
Right.
which I wear so I can monitor the sound as I'm recording. So any type of touching it will get handling noise and you don't want that. And I can just start recording.
So this is you in action.
This is me in action, yeah.
With this,
Collecting
right?
stories from people I meet, yeah, and
Weather is hot here in Thailand. We have droughts. And are you recording?
no, I can if you want
I'm
though.
just kidding.
I can if you want. It'd be cool.
Where do you get your funding from?
Yeah, so I started out with a grant from Harvard. That was for a year of purposeful wandering after graduation, and this is the project I proposed and what I'm doing. And now I'm working as I go. So I do some part-time social media work for a company called Omprakash, and I also do freelance writing along the way.
So you fund your own travel as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Do you spend a lot of money
No.
on each trip?
No, really not. It's just food and water and.
What about accommodation?
I mean, right now I'm staying with a friend, which is really wonderful. And in the past, I have been staying with people or friends of people before. I can count on like 2, maybe 1.5 hands the number of times I paid for accommodation in the last 2 years since I've been traveling, and it's either been camping or staying with people who are friends. So I feel really, really lucky in that respect.
That's what you tend to get along the way, right? Kindness from people.
Strangers.
So random.
Yeah, and it's what keeps me going. I mean, I really believe I wouldn't be alive without the kindness of strangers. So.
What are the lessons that you learned out of your journey?
Okay, journey lessons. Slow is good. I thought at the start of the trip that I was going to get everything done in a year, right? And I wanted to hurry, be in a rush. And,
Right.
And the more I've traveled, the more I've just realized how wonderful it is and how great things happen when I slow down and when I just take the time to really be somewhere and be with someone rather than just hurrying on to the next place.
นับเป็นเรื่องราวที่น่าประทับใจของคนคนหนึ่งที่ตั้งใจทำในสิ่งที่ตัวเองสนใจและหวังว่าจะช่วยเปลี่ยนแปลงให้โลกนี้ไปในทางที่ดีขึ้นได้ค่ะใครที่สนใจเรื่องราวของ Devi Lockwood ไปตามบล็อกของเธอได้ตามลิงก์ด้านล่างนี้นะคะพบกันใหม่สัปดาห์หน้าวันนี้สวัสดีค่ะ